I can see it all on here.
Oh, really? Right there?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Like
All
air.
right.
All right,
Well,
let's do it.
we're started.
All right.
What's going on, guys? We're back for another episode of We're Doing Fine with Connor James, and I brought me a guest today, my manager, David Bernard, and also
Connor.
my friend.
It's great to be here.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Doing
another
good.
another
Good to see
beautiful
you.
day.
Yeah. You come back from where were you today? Working?
Lafayette. Lafayette, Karen Crow.
You have a construction company, right?
Yeah. Construction, concrete, do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. The weather's been keeping it right for you so far.
Until on the way over here, it's pouring down rain. So,
Is
but
it?
it's okay. Yeah,
raining outside?
yeah, it's okay. I'll take a day off tomorrow. It's fine with me.
We're supposed to be getting a lot of rain this weekend, and then it's going to get cold again. It was 80 degrees today, and then it's going to be getting freaking cold.
Might get the deer to get moving again.
I know. My dad shot 3 deer already this year. I haven't shot one. I shot a little hog, but I didn't shoot a deer yet, and I don't know if I will. If he goes and shoots another deer, then I don't even know if my freezer can hold it. So,
Mine will.
yeah, there you go. That's
There you
right.
go.
Send you some deer.
No, I drove up at home the other night, and there were 2 deer in my yard. It's just that's what I love about where I
yeah.
live. 2 deer in my yard, and they look at me like, "Hey, we're here. We're eating your corn," and so that's what I drove home to. Last Thursday night.
Doing any projects on your house? Were you doing something about something on the pond, huh? Weren't you?
Yeah, we've been lining the edge of the pond. I have a 9-acre pond in my backyard, and we line it with concrete so it doesn't wash out.
Oh,
Just
wow.
And whenever we get broken concrete, we just I bring the skid steer out there or mini excavator, and that's my fun thing. Push rock to the edge of my pond and shore it up so it doesn't erode from me, because it erodes quite a bit. You'd be surprised.
Well, look, I met you. So the first time I got to meet you, we were doing a concert at the Rock and Bowl
Right.
with Michael Scott, and I brought my band over there.
I remember that.
And I was opening it up, and then you're sitting outside chilling, smoking a cigarette,
Yep.
cursing somebody out on the phone. And I was like, oh, who's this guy? Well, you could tell you meant business. And we got to playing, and we did sound check. And I got to talking to you before sound check. I was like, hey, man, you've told me you were his manager. I was like, well, give us a listen. And, if you hear anything, tweak it right. I know you'd been dealing with Michael for a while. And if you hear anything, and, man, I don't have a manager. I'd love to maybe talk about it. And you were like, well, I'll listen to you guys, and no promises, but I'll listen to you. We had a great conversation.
Yes.
We knocked it off good. And
Yes.
then we had the sound check. We did the whole concert. And it was good after that. It's been ever since. I've known you since then.
Ever since then, it's I always tell people that come up to me, or if I talk to them about managing them, let's make sure we can be friends and we can get along before we even go to the next step.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it is somewhat of a marriage when you have a manager, because you have to communicate, talk, visit, figure things out, make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So I've said no to a number of people saying, no, I'm not going to manage you, because I just didn't feel the vibe. So like, no, I think I'll pass, but I'll help you if I can.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want a manager I didn't like either. So that's right. But how did you get into managing? What does that come from?
Okay, that comes from many years ago. My dad sold the house that I grew up in to Buckwheat Zydeco musician.
Really?
From Carencrow. Actually, he grew up in Carencrow, and ended up going on the road with him a few times. He's like, we got to be really good friends. He said, David, come with me on the road. I need you. I don't have anybody for Jazz Fest or a little quick mini tour in Texas. Come with me and manage for me. Like, okay.
How old are you at this point?
Oh, I was in my 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
At that time, I had my own advertising agency, which I
Okay.
still have to this day. And I was able to get away. I was like, yeah, I'll go. So I went and I figured out what needed to be done. And I saw the things that they went through as an artist without a manager, being with him on the road, just going to Jazz Fest. It's unbelievable what these artists go through to get through a gig. Mm-hmm. And if they have no help, it's that much more on the performer. So I learned real quick. So from that point, the first one I did was with him in Texas. And those were easy shows, no big deal, bars, larger bar venues. Mm-hmm. But dealing with managers, not getting money, not wanting to pay, I learned that real quick. So I learned it, and he gave me, at one point, in one of the first tours I went with him on, one of the bars didn't want to pay before he got up on stage. And I told the bar owner, said, well, we're leaving. He said, you can't leave? I said, well, we're leaving. So we're going to pack up and go home. We're not going to show. We're not going to do the show. We're going to make sure we announce why we're leaving because you're not paying. I said, you read the contract. You sent your deposit. You're going to lose your deposit. You owe us 50%. I want the money. When I get the money, it'll be 30 minutes and we'll go on stage. And I went to the bus and Buck said, let's go. We leave right now. I said, no, I told him 30 minutes. I'm going to keep my word. All right. Well, 20 minutes later, on the bus is the owner. He says, here's your money. It's like, okay.
All right.
We'll see you
on the bus.
We'll see you in a few minutes and have a nice day. We won't be, and we never went back.
Yeah.
You know, Buck said, take him off the list.
Oh man, I can't tell you. I mean, that happens often, especially whenever somebody doesn't have you're doing this by yourself. Like I did this all by myself in the beginning, and your back's against the wall because you have to be the good guy, and you have to be the artist, the good guy, and the businessman at the same time. So if you're not getting paid and you want to come play back over here, and you're like a guy trying to get his foot in the door, I mean, you just look like you have no choice but to bow down. Yes, okay, well, hey, we can't pay you as much as we said we were going to pay you. Right. So would you mind? We're going to have to give you this, and it's like, well, no, that's not what we are. So you got to have somebody. It's nice having somebody in your corner that's like, they can be the ugly guy.
And the other thing too is, I've told this to a number of people, and I always have the same thought process. You have a toothache, you don't pull your own tooth. You go to the dentist. You have a legal problem, you go to an attorney. You don't try to do it yourself. You don't represent yourself. Never. Why would you represent yourself as an artist to negotiate money? Number one, you're too vested into what you're trying to sell. You're selling yourself is what you're doing. And it's hard to do that. So you tend to cave because all artists have, and I know this for a fact, and they can all deny it, but they'll have a sense of, I'm not too sure. I'm not good enough to really get $500 for a 2-hour gig.
Of course.
You know, but some artists don't, when they're questioned, they tend to back up and say, oh, I'll do it for $3.
Right.
I'm not going to do that, you know, because I know what the worth is of the artist that I'm representing. So I'm going to get what is needed for that artist to do his show. Yeah. And some venues like it, but I would say 98% of the time they come through with whatever I ask.
Yeah.
They'll never say.
And look, instantly when it's somebody other than the artist, it instantly looks like professional. Like, it's not him. And that catches them by surprise. You know, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, I didn't know you had stipulations. I didn't know we had to go by rules. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, dude. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've backed down from what I play for, and it's like, I mean, people will undercut you $50, $100, and it's like, are you serious?
Right.
And this is what I'm like, are you serious? You can't. And then it's like, okay, I'll be the good guy, but it's whatever. It's just how it works.
The hardest part is negotiating for any artist. And that's not collecting the money. The artist, that's once I've set it in stone with a client, collecting the money is not really the hard part at that point because they know there's a manager involved.
Right.
It's negotiating that first round.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, I need 500 for him to do the 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's just way too much. Well, that's what it is. But it takes some finesse. You know, it's not that black and white. It's not that easy. Right. You know, there's a lot of wording that goes back and forth before you actually get what you're asking for.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part. And an artist shouldn't take his time to try to negotiate a deal, you know, waste 3 hours of his time when he could be doing something artistic, which is what he should be doing. He should be working on his craft, not on trying to negotiate pay. And
another thing that I had no idea about was when you were like, well, somebody canceled. I drove 3 hours to go do a gig, and then it's pouring down rain, and then we can't do it. And hey, are you getting any money for it? And I was like, well, no, I'm not doing it. And you're like, well, you didn't write a contract? And I'm like, no, of course not. What are you talking about? And you're like, well, no, like you got to have something that says if this happens, like an act of God happens, you got to get something if you drove that far or something like that. But you take your wins and your losses.
Yeah.
But before we get back into that stuff,
okay.
Like I said, I wanted to get to know you. So tell me where you grew up. Tell me that. Let's start there.
Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Carencro, Louisiana. Grew up in a small town. Mm-hmm. And back then it was a really small town. I mean, 2,000 people maybe.
It's booming now.
It is booming. Grew up with my parents. Parents divorced when I was young, 6 years old. You know, typical. Grew up like everybody else, like for the most part. Um, Lived with my mom. Many years later, ended up living with my dad. Two totally different upbringings between the two of them, which was good for me because my parents were two totally different people. My mom was very analytical, very OCD, very precise. My dad was, oh, that's close enough. That's good. It'll work. You know, not to a point where it would fail, but to a point where it was good enough that it would work and a little bit better than that. So I have a little bit of both in me from that, which puts me in kind of a weird situation because my mom was very creative. My dad was very creative. My mom was very analytical. My dad was too. He was a general contractor. So both my left and right side of my brain work because I've been always in a creative mode. I worked at Channel 10 for a number of years as a videographer, editor, sports reporter, did it all. Ended up owning my own advertising agency.
Well, let's slow a little slower than that.
Okay.
So where'd you go to high school?
Karen Crow High.
Karen Crow High School. So,
Class of 83, baby.
and you're still in Karen Crow, right?
I'm still in Karen Crow,
Okay.
still living the Crow.
Class of 83, Karen Crow High. Well,
Yeah.
what'd you do in high school? What were your interests?
Played
over
tennis. I played tennis, but I was always about work. So my junior and senior year, I only went to school half a day, and I went to work half a day.
there? Was that because you wanted to? Did
That's
your
because I
parents
wanted
make
to.
you
Nope,
do that?
that's what I wanted to do. My parents let me be.
What was your dad was a general contractor,
Contractor.
and what did your mom do?
My mom was a teacher's aide for mentally retarded children.
Okay.
So she
In Karen Crow?
in Karen Crow.
Is that school still around?
Yes,
Okay.
Karen Crow Elementary School is still there.
Yeah. Do you have any brothers or anything?
I have a sister. She lives in Gray Eagle, California. She's 5 years older than I am. I'm not an uncle. She never had kids. Her and her husband live out in the mountains, got horses, and they live in the life of Riley.
Did you do any sports in high school?
Tennis, that was it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
Tennis.
told me.
Because in high school I couldn't really participate in sports fully because I was leaving at noon to go to work. And the first 6 months of me doing that, my junior year, I worked for my dad in construction. And then after that, I had an opportunity to go to work for Channel 10, the television station in Lafayette. And I took that chance because I wanted to learn more about meteorology because I love the weather. Always been a weather freak. And that ended up progressing into me becoming an editor, then a videographer. Then it just grew from there.
What was your first job? I mean, I'm
First
sure
job as a kid.
Yeah,
I worked in
right.
a grocery store. I was a stocker.
Where at?
Bonnie's grocery store, right down the street from my house. I'd ride my bike. It was Tuesday, Thursday, every other Saturday.
What was the pay back then?
$2.10, baby.
There
Big
you go.
money.
I think my dad was a bagger too, and whenever he was a kid, and I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure he told me that. But man, they used to have people that did bagging. Now we got to do it ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I didn't bag. I was a stocker.
Okay.
We would stock, and it was always stocking the freezers, the coolers. Delivery day was on Thursdays. That's when the big shipment would come in. So we'd have to cut boxes, put the pricing. Back in the day, we had a little tag and a little gun, and you put the pricing on all the products that you put on the shelves.
Okay.
And Saturdays was hose down the whole parking lot. Take a hose and hose. That's our job.
Oh my gosh.
But hey,
How long did that take?
oh, it took a while. That was a few hours, but it was a great little job. I also worked at Caden Hills Country Club during the summer.
Caden Hills Country Club. Is that in Karen Grove?
Well, no, it's actually in Lafayette, corner of. It's closed now. My dad actually built it when I was a kid. So growing up, I grew up there, swimming and
Oh, yeah,
learn how
that's
to play,
awesome.
learn how to play golf there. And then in summers, I would either work on the driving range, picking up golf balls and filling up
That ain't
bags.
a bad job.
Loading, unloading golf clubs for the in the morning, get there early before the players came in. We got a list of who was playing, what time, what group. We'd load all their clubs, but they kept them at Caden Hills. We had a storage facility. We put them all on the golf carts, and then in the afternoon, I'm on a tractor picking up golf balls.
Did they
and
have
washing
any
them.
would any famous guys roll through there?
No.
Any country club? This was just like Lafayette oil field guys that come.
Yeah, pretty much.
Come
Oil
play.
field, real estate guys, contractors, subcontractors, people that did painting. And I remembered it was a lot of my friends of my dad who did a lot of work with my dad were members there also.
Oh, you might have got tipped well every now and then, huh?
Nah, a
Maybe
quarter,
a cigarette or
quarter
two.
here and there. Here's a quarter.
So after that job, you went and did. So you did the country club, and what? You're 16 now. Are you driving to that?
16, and that's when I did the country club till I was probably 14.
Okay.
And then I didn't do anything for a little bit. And then maybe a year it kind of broke. And then started working for my dad part-time so I could learn construction because I was going to go into construction.
You were gonna like try and take over the business.
I was gonna try to, and that started. I saw the writing on the wall when I was when I was 16. I saw the writing on the wall that he was retiring. He was like, "I'm done." I could see it in his face. He'd talk about it. I'm retiring, and I wasn't ready.
How old was he when he was thinking about that?
48. Never
Really?
forget. I never forget.
That's young.
And he retired at 49.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you made a move. How'd you get into weather?
As a young kid, 5, 6 years old, I just had a fascination for weather and actually built my own studio. My mom gave me, we had an extra room in the house and she gave me the room and I built my own weather set. I mean, I'm like
Tell me what a
7
weather
years old.
set is.
It had, I wish I would have a picture of it. I'd show it to
A
you.
little thing that spins?
No, it was actually a set just like you'd have in a studio with maps with the high pressures, low pressures, isobars, cold fronts, warm fronts, temperatures. I had magnets. I had you name it. I just built everything from scratch. I
Really?
painted my own maps and I found magnets. And it's not like Google today. I had to dig through magazines to say who sells magnetic numbers and letters and
Sears magazine.
basically magnetic pieces of flat pieces of magnetic that I would cut to make into actual symbols of weather, cold fronts and warm fronts and isobars. And
What?
yeah, I just built the whole thing. So that's where it comes from with me. I have the creative side, but also have the analytical side.
Would you like get up at 5 and like
Oh,
your
yeah.
mom were watching the news?
Oh yeah,
Turn on the weather.
I'm watching the weather.
Were you ever acting like you were the
Oh
weather
yeah.
guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did the weather show in that room more than once for my mom and my sister and whoever else who wanted to watch. I did it.
You watch them play it, and then you sit and reenact it whenever they came inside. I bet they love that. So
And that's how I ended up at Channel 10. Dick Farrow and
Channel 10.
Dick Farrow, Ed Roy, I was friends with all of them. I was a young kid that loved the weather, and I bugged the piss out of them. I want to know about weather. Ed Roy had a company called Ed Roy Limited. It was a weather company, and he let me go in once every other week, and I'd spend a day, the afternoon. When I was a little bitty kid, my mom would bring me and drop me off. I'd sit with his meteorologist, and I learned about weather. They teach me and they show me, and I learned how to run a facsimile machine, which you won't know what that is. A fax machine.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
You know what a fax machine is, I hope. Well, back in the day, it was called a facsimile machine, which had a tumbler and a roller, and it rolled. It was crazy. To send out a fax took about 30 minutes for one page.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
So and then on my other days, I go see Dick Farrow, Channel 10. And one day, that's where I got the opportunity to go to Channel 10. He said, "Hey, would you like to be my intern?" Like, I'm in. I was 16 years old. I'm in. And I started interning for him. And his office was in the newsroom back in those days. And Jim and Maria Placer and Jim Baronet were the honchos. And I got befriended them. And one day, 6 months I was there, Maria said, "David, you're a very energetic young man. I can see that you like to do things. Would you like to learn how to edit?" It's like, "I'd love to."
oh, I bet you editing was a pain back then.
Oh yeah, it was machine to machine, machine to machine. I mean, it was not what it is, not even close.
I mean, okay, so
So
you stuck doing that.
it went from there. It just went from there, and then just took off from there. And every door that opened ended up opening other doors. To this day, I still work with the Weather Channel. I still do hurricanes. I'm with Jim Cantori, Mike Bettis, you name it. I'm with
Yeah,
them.
tell me how you got into the Weather Channel.
30 plus years ago, one of the guys that I trained at Channel 10 went to work for the Weather Channel as their uplink operator. It's a satellite truck. And they were short. They needed an extra videographer for a hurricane. And they were running around the office in Atlanta. We don't have anybody. We don't have anybody. We need somebody. So the guy that I trained, Craig, said, "Wait a minute. I've got a guy in Lafayette. He's covered more hurricanes than anybody I know. He's the best hurricane guy I know when it comes to videography. Give him a shot. Like, okay. So I went, and the first time I did a hurricane was in Galveston with Jim Cantori, and we hit it off because I did things that he had never done before. Like, hey, we're gonna do this. What? No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this and this. Dude, you don't mind with your equipment? No, we're gonna make this work.
Was he a big name even then?
He was at the beginning of his start.
He was always at the Weather Channel.
Yes.
He's always been there.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the beginning of his start, but he was getting to be known already. You know, he was already making his inroads on television and weather and especially hurricanes. So we've kind of been through the whole growth together through this whole thing.
Okay.
And that
What
was
was your first thought of Jim Cantori when you first met him?
I've never been starstruck by anyone because I worked with Dan Rather before your time. He used to be the evening news anchor on CBS. You know, I've worked with all these people at some point. So these guys, none of them ever, they're just like you and I. Like my son will tell you, because my son, he is the most unstarstruck person you'll ever meet. Hey, Dad, they put their shoes on just like we do. 1 foot at a time, tie one at a time. They're no different. In fact, they're more screwed up than we are. So it's all good. And my son will tell you that in a split second.
Well, cool. Yeah. How'd the first hurricane go?
Good.
What hurricane was it?
I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how many I've been in. I can't even tell you how many I've covered. I lost track at I've gotten to be in 9 hurricane eyes over the years.
What was the worst hurricane you've been through and had to sit through, and scariest, like thought you're going to die?
I've never had one that I thought I was going to die. Never been fortunate not to have that. Because we all know, because I have a weather background, and all of us in the group, we all tend to work together. We all have a pretty good idea of what to expect and where it's going to come from. So, but the hardest hurricane I covered was Ivan in Pensacola. And that was 15, 20
You're right,
years
yeah.
ago. Been a long time ago. That's when the I-10 bridge going across from Pensacola to trying to get to Fort Walton Beach, that bridge was gone. I-10 was history. That was probably the worst one I've ever covered. And the one, because a lot of times we'll book 2 hotel rooms in 2 different locations in case one gets blown out. And luckily we did on that one because the hotel we had in downtown Pensacola was totally just disintegrated. All of our windows were blown out. Everything was gone.
Where were you when the windows are blown out?
I was downtown. I was in the middle of it, covering it with Jim. And
Oh my gosh.
but you learn. I cover hurricane in shorts and flip flops and tennis shoes or whatever, and have a raincoat on. But when you cover a hurricane, you know where the winds are coming from, so you know where the rain's going to come from. So I set up my gear and myself where I'm not going to get beat up the whole time. You know, I'm inside a little alcove, or I'm in the middle of an alleyway, or just something like that. New Orleans, I've got probably 20 spots in New Orleans that I can go to for any type of hurricane, and I'm going to be fine. Now, busted windows on my Yukon, definitely. Flat tires, always. You know, it's just part of the show.
So you're like now are the guy that's going to go for the Weather Channel
No.
in the South region?
No.
How do they pick that?
It's all based on location, availability. I have this thing, they'll call me, and the last few years have been a little slow. So they'll call me and say, hey, do you want this hurricane? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I don't think we had a hurricane
We didn't have
at
one
all
this year.
last year.
Last year we had a couple. Year before we didn't have anything. Not here, but we have some in the Northeast and South Texas. And they'll call me. I'm like, I'm going to pass. Give it to the guys that want it, that need this kind of work. There are a lot of guys that do this that are stringers. They do a lot of other things besides hurricanes. So, and those guys, they depend on that money for an income. And they're younger. And I'm like, let the young group go. If it's closer to home, I'll go do it. Or if y'all need me, further down the road, I'll cover it. But let the guys that haven't worked yet this year, let them go first. And then if y'all need me later, call me. Yeah. So that's how we do it. It's a real relaxed. I'm the GOAT. I'm the old guy with the Weather Channel. I'm the longest running contracted videographer for the Weather Channel. So they just kind of, it's like whatever, David, just go do. If you want to go cover it, just go cover it by yourself.
Did you cover Hurricane Katrina?
Yes.
How was it, Hurricane Katrina? Tell me about that.
Katrina was
the weekend going into it.
I was in New Orleans with can't think of his name. It wasn't Jim. Jim was in Biloxi. We're in New Orleans, and when I got the Weather Channel, that has a room of meteorologists called the Met Desk, and there are a bunch of meteorologists, and they're analyzing everything under the sun. And I called in to see what was going on at the Med Desk and what they were predicting for New Orleans. And when they told me what they had based on their information, I told the producer and the talent I wasn't staying in New Orleans. I was going home. They're like, what? I said, I've covered every hurricane in New Orleans. Never been, it always floods. It's always, but there are ways around it. But what we saw coming from Katrina, I told them I'm not staying. They're like, well, what are we going to do? I said, we need to go North Shore, cover from there. We don't need to stay in New Orleans. It's not worth our lives to cover this hurricane. And we could jeopardize ourselves or get stuck here. And
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
even since y'all are the Weather Channel with the police, like once you get, hey, they have a mandatory evacuation, and you're in New Orleans whenever they're having the mandatory evacuation.
We stay.
Is what?
We'll stay.
You're staying?
Yeah, we're staying.
Okay. And
For
but
the
you
most
said
part.
you weren't going to stay.
But we didn't want to. No, for that one, we weren't staying.
Right. How long do you have? And like, what if you do stay? And can you leave if they say no? I mean,
Well, yeah, you can leave. You can leave at any time, but you get to a point where it's too late to leave because
Right.
there's so much traffic on the road. You're
oh my God.
up shit creek. I mean, you're just screwed. So, the decisions have to be made far enough in advance. Also, back in those days, we had a big satellite truck with us. So we had to accommodate for the satellite truck to be able to drive because it's not, it's a big vehicle. And then I'm in a vehicle, producers in a vehicle, talent's in another vehicle with another person. We've got 4 or 5 vehicles running around. We have to be ahead of the game when it comes to scheduling and figuring out what we're going to do and where we're going to do it from. Now, that's changed now with technology today. We might be only 2 vehicles. So we can scurry around pretty quickly if we need to. But back in the day, it was a lot different. It was a lot more cumbersome.
Yeah. So y'all went to the North Shore
went
to
to the North
cover it.
Shore,
When
covered there.
Jim comes in from Biloxi,
Jim got stuck in Biloxi.
he didn't even get to cover Katrina.
No, he covered it, but they lost the satellite truck. What happened, the surge came in higher than what was predicted. Where they were parked and stationed at, the satellite truck got swamped. All the vehicles got swamped. Everything was underwater. They lost all the gear. They lost the satellite truck. They lost everything.
Were they filming when that was going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
So they never even saw the trucks.
It was not good.
How long did you stay around for that?
2 days. 2 days after. Because we covered everything on the North Shore because we couldn't get back into New Orleans.
So y'all basically just film the hurricane come through and then you leave.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't do I'm not paid, and I don't do aftermath because I've covered so many hurricanes. Aftermath is too much for me now. I back in the day, aftermath was okay, because I didn't see that much destruction, devastation, and heartache. I wasn't. But now I've seen so much of it, I don't want to see it anymore. I'm done. I'm toast. After Ivan, that was pretty much the end of it for me for doing aftermath. When you're driving around and there are homeless people with no place to go, homes gone, people have no place to go. It's hard. And after a while, seeing so much of that so many times, I just told them, I'm not doing aftermath. I'm done. I can't swallow it anymore.
Yeah.
It's a tough pill to swallow after time. Enough's enough.
Yeah, it's like I've heard somebody say like being a cop. The only time I see people is like on their worst days.
Right.
It's like I don't want to see that all the time if
Right.
I don't have to.
And it just gets hard. It's hard enough as it is just covering the hurricane because I know in the back of my mind what these people are going through. There's many hurricanes. As soon as the eye goes, let's say the eye comes in through Ivan. Good example. Ivan came through right around midnight is when we got the eye. I never forget. It's about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I actually slept in my Yukon that night till sunrise. And Mike Bettis and I alternated doing live radio reports because there used to be a Weather Channel radio network. So the radio stations basically in every market had a contract with the Weather Channel for weather updates. Well, everybody wanted to know about the hurricane. Well, Mike can't do that many. I mean, you're talking about 150 live cut-ins.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it. So he would do one, I would do one. He would do one, I would do one. And we did that all night long. And it helped us get through the night. Next thing we know, the sun's coming up, and I can't get out because everything's gone. I mean, the streets are full of trees, limbs, broken glass, everything. So we just sat in the Yukon and just hung out for a while. And we always have food,
Yeah.
kind of, I'm talking not food, but I'm talking, Snicker bars, M&Ms, Fritos,
Yeah.
potato chips, and we had breakfast, our breakfast. And by noon, the roads were open up enough. We did some cut-ins that afternoon, and at 6 o'clock that afternoon, I was gone. By midnight, the night after the hurricane, I was home.
Yeah. Most like when you go stay at a hotel or something, most hotels have a giant generator.
Yeah,
That's why you'll get a hotel and
right.
um like so has y'all ever been in I think when I was talking to you one time the hotel had all went out and y'all had to move or something
Yeah,
or
that was a hurricane in New Orleans. They had a generator, guaranteed generator. So I'm on the 14th floor in New Orleans, covering a hurricane, and you know we don't leave gear in our vehicles because it's especially New Orleans, but
yeah.
we have too much, so we haul every we it's compact, but we still have to haul it up. Well, the hurricane comes through, late afternoon hurricane. Get to the hotel, no electricity, so I have to trek 14 floors
Oh no.
to my hotel room. Keys don't work because everything's electronic. So
That's right.
eventually somebody comes and gets my door open. The batteries are dead in my because most key fobs have batteries, a battery backup. Mine didn't work, of course. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do?
Walk
Windows
down
don't open on the
14.
14th floor. Windows don't open.
Right.
They're solid lock. They're solid pane windows. You can't open them. Like, well, I'm screwed. I'm gonna. So I
And it's
just
hot in there.
hot
Oh
and
my
muggy.
God.
And if you can imagine a hotel with no air conditioning running, with the number of people that have stayed in that place over the years,
Oh,
it gets mighty musky after a while. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, said I'm getting up. I got up, and of course we'll have battery lights. I have battery lights. Got a little few things of that we need. I use the bathroom. Like, oh, I messed up. I just used the bathroom. I can't flush the toilet.
oh my God.
I said, well,
Yeah, fight over the bathroom.
the
No,
water,
I get it this time.
and then the water pump was hooked up to they have a water pump because the city can't provide enough pressure to push water up 14 floors. So every hotel has water pumps to force the water up to all the floors. Well, the water pump's not working. So you can't flush a toilet.
Oh my God.
You can't take a shower. Like, well, I'm out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I tracked down 14 flights with everything on my shoulders, on my back, on my head. Went down, started my Yukon, put the seat back, and I took a nap.
Dude, well, I'll tell you what, the weather feels the best thing about a hurricane, the weather feels so good outside. It's
I
like,
know.
oh my God, just leave the windows open. It
Right.
feels I mean, sometimes after the hurricane it's hot and stuff, but
The funny thing is everybody says, oh, man, that's the coolest job in the world. They don't realize what we go through. People don't have a clue of what we go through during and after the hurricane. That's the part that people don't get. 14 flights of stairs isn't fun. You walk out and your vehicle's got 2 flat tires. You've got 1 spare. That's not fun. There's no AAA during a hurricane.
they wouldn't like let you have a Weather Channel vehicle or something?
No,
Well, you're a contractor, so
No,
I
we're
guess
all
not.
contracted, and I mean they pay for everything, but it doesn't get you out of a bind in the bind.
Yeah.
A lot of rental car companies won't even rent us a vehicle. If we say with the Weather Channel, no,
Why?
because we've ruined so many vehicles.
Oh.
We've broken so many windows, tires, hail damage. It's unbelievable how many vehicles we've destroyed
Yeah, and then
for rental car companies.
after Hurricane Katrina, then they had Rita. Did you have to go do that one too?
I did. Jim and I did Rita. We're in Houston for Rita, and that was a little bit of a mess because we're in the middle of Houston, and they did a thing called contraflow.
Oh, like LSU football games, contraflow.
You know what I'm talking about. So all of the highways only led out, so you couldn't drive into the city. Well, we get notified 24 hours before the hurricane's going to hit land that it's not going to Houston anymore. But we can't announce that because everyone's already leaving Houston if it's announced. So a lot of things going on behind the
yeah.
scenes. There's no way to undo that.
Yeah.
You understand? So
That's insane.
we just, I mean, I could only call my family to tell them it's moving more towards us than it is Houston. So I had to get on the phone and call family and close friends and say, you can't tell anybody I'm telling you this, but get the hell out.
Can
Like my wife and kids, I made them go. They went to Florida.
yeah.
I said, y'all go to Florida. Don't worry about the house. Just close everything up. don't, it's going to be in that area. We're going to get hammered.
Do y'all always find out things before
Yeah,
everybody else does?
normally.
And how is there any way to tell unless you have? I guess you'd have to have your own weather stuff to weather equipment.
Well,
But
that doesn't happen very often because the way with the technology of today and the things that they have to use to predict hurricanes, weather, everything has just gotten so advanced so quickly that the days of, let's say, a Rita, when they're saying Houston's going to get hammered, Houston's going to get hammered, and it slides over 100 miles to the east, those days are pretty much gone
yeah,
because technology has just really gotten that much better, for forecasting. So that was I think probably the end of that era of that ever happening, that it would be that far off.
yeah. Like whenever they have those scatter plots on where the hurricanes are going, are you pretty good at predicting
Yeah.
like which route it's going to take?
Yeah.
Like, what's the best indicator that you?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, because I have a lot of information on my computer and my phone that, number one, the general public couldn't read or understand. Number two, they don't have access to it. And number three, at the end of the day, like I said, now with technology the way it is, I don't have to second guess what they're saying anymore because they've pretty much got it right off the bat. I mean, they nail it pretty good.
I used to. I mean, I still do. I started watching, like, what is it? Tropical Tidbits. You ever watch Tropical Tidbit? And they have all these tabs and everything, and I have no idea what is
There's a lot.
what is going on.
There's a lot to it. So that's been
Like a GFS model and
yeah.
all that. What does GFS stand for? I was stumping you.
Yeah, you're gonna stump me. Now give me a few minutes and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Because I'm not in the weather. My brain's not in the weather.
Well, I feel you. Let me
Because I do so many different things. I wear a lot of different hats every day.
Yeah.
Because I go from construction to weather to writing a script for a customer, and I still do that. I still have a lot of people calling me, "Hey, can you write a script for my business?" Sure, and I'll write the script. "Hey, do you mind voicing it for us?" Sure.
You write commercial scripts?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Really?
Yeah. So I was telling you that I have the analytical and the creative side with my advertising agency. I wrote 90% of the scripts for all of my clients. I wrote all their scripts and I came up with a visual concept of what was going to go with the script. So when you write a television commercial script, you have to think visually and you have to write so you can do a 3-second shot. So I have to word it for 3 seconds for the shot to fall here. So there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle when writing a television script. I need 4 seconds to talk about this because I have a 4-second shot I need to shoot to fill this spot. So the video and the audio all matches. So that's where the creative side comes in. And I like that part. It's a fun part for me, but I
Yeah.
can't do it every day, all day. It's too much.
Well, we'll go to your advertising agency. So whenever you started that, who was your first client for your advertising agency?
Service Chevrolet in Lafayette.
Okay.
A friend of mine called me, Bonnie Robert Will, who I'm still friends with today. He said, "David, I need help with a commercial. I know you're just getting started, but I think we could work well together." And we did a commercial. It was for a Dominator pickup truck. And the older people out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Dominator. I mean, it was the truck of the day. And I did that commercial, and then it just grew from there. I just ended up picking up client after client after client.
We're mostly Lafayette area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly Lafayette. They ended up with clients in Houston, Dallas, Mobile, different areas.
Any giant clients
No.
that you could speak of?
No. But it was fun because
Yeah.
I mean, I had a good time. It was my niche. I did a lot of furniture commercials, a lot of restaurant commercials, you name it, we did it. But I was able to build a studio. And I was the first guy in Lafayette to build a privately owned studio. And that studio, I built it so it could be used for still and video. So I had
You'd film commercials in it.
in the studio, yes. I could put 2 cars in that
What
studio.
year is this?
Oh, 94, 95.
Okay.
30
you're
years ago.
filming studio and you own your
I
own.
own the studio. I
Wow.
took a
So-
chance and
You learned how to do all the like the sound, the video cameras. Did you hire anybody to work with you?
I hired when I first started the production company, I was editing over at Channel 15 in their edit bay, and one of the guys in there ended up coming to work for me, Derek Chapman, and he stayed with me for 25 years. And he was my editor. He was my production manager. He was in charge of editing all the commercials. So I built the studio, and it was fun with the studio because I had Shanda Rubin doing Nike still photography in my studio. She didn't have to travel to New York, L.A., New Orleans, or wherever. She made Nike come to Lafayette.
Wow. What was her name?
Shanda Rubin. She was a
Yeah,
tennis
player.
star. Yeah.
My mom's met her. Played with her before.
Okay. So Shanda's
Yeah.
been in my Shanda was in my studio. There's a weight equipment company called Body Masters that was in Lafayette,
Yeah.
and they did all their still photos in my. They brought all their equipment to my studio. Did all their still shooting in my studio. Did a number of gubernatorial debates in my studio, senatorial debates, congressional debates were done all in my studio.
Really?
30-minute shows were done in my studio. Yeah, we had a good time.
This podcast could have been done in your studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that studio, we had a lot of fun in that studio. A lot of ice skaters. I remember the hockey team.
In Lafayette?
Yep, the Louisiana
think
Ice Skaters. The all of their still photography for their the Gator Girls was all done in my studio.
Cool.
I did all of the.
What kind of doors did that open? I mean, how long did you do that for?
Oh, I had that studio for 20 plus years.
Yeah. No, I
And
mean,
then
was
when I
that
turned
like
48, I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm retiring. I'm tired.
like your dad.
It's a lot. There's a lot to it. Running a business, having employees, being creative, having a family. It was a lot, and I done well. So I'm good.
When did you first get married?
I can't even tell you. If you ask me years, you can forget it because it won't happen.
Well, your son's like what, my age?
My son is 24.
Okay, close.
Yeah, and that was from my
28.
second marriage. That was from my
Okay.
second marriage.
So your first marriage didn't have any kids?
No,
Okay.
still best of friends, still close to the family. In fact, her dad just passed away, and I was at the funeral. And the whole family and even some of the kids, Dog Dave. So it's still, and we've been divorced. Oh God, her kids are 24 years old, 25 years old. So it's been that long.
Yeah.
But still close to the family. And yeah, my son's 24 now. So
You have one son?
one son.
And what does he do?
My son lives in Houston. He works for a place called the Shop Houston, and they build exotics, Lamborghinis, GTRs, and they go from a regular 500 horsepower car to 2,000 horsepower car. That's what they
Is
do.
he going to build you one?
No, I don't want one. I don't want one. I've been there, done that. The fast stuff, I'm good.
Yeah, I've seen some of the.
But he's also a drifter. He drives drift cars.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, he started drifting when he was 13, didn't have a driver's license, and 14, and 5 years into it, 4 years into it, he got his pro license, and at the time he was the youngest person to ever get a Formula D professional license, driver's license.
What
to
is
go
the difference
professional.
between Formula D and Formula One? Is there another?
It's all different. Formula D is
What is
drifting.
a formula?
Yeah, it's just the name.
It's just the name of the.
Yeah.
Okay, brand.
So you have Formula D, and that's all drifting. That's just drifting. Formula One, of course, is course racing. High speed, fast car racing.
Okay.
With the Formula One cars. But yeah, he was the youngest one at the time. There's another kid that got his license, I think, a month younger than Colin, but he held that record for a little while. But he didn't go pro. He said, "I'm not going pro, Dad. I beat half of those guys already. I don't need to beat them again. I'm good."
Yeah.
But he's still drifting. He went what we call grassroots drifting, and it's a whole
I'm
different.
guessing that's in Kentucky.
No, it's actually in Houston.
Okay.
It's big all over the country, but no, he's excelled tremendously in that. He gets invited to events that are like he just did an event in Wisconsin, and there are only 120 drivers that are invited or qualified to go to that event.
And when is that?
It's Labor Day weekend,
Okay.
and he went because he qualified, but he has an open invitation to go anytime he wants because the owner loves him.
Oh, awesome.
And it's kind of cool because I went to the last one. I surprised him, and I showed up in Wisconsin, and I was there for the day, and there was a girl, a professional driver from Japan, a little Chinese girl, and she's a professional driver, so they had to ship her car on a in a cargo ship to go to this event. That's how big this event is. And she saw me walking, and she comes up to me, "You call him dad? You call him dad?" I said, "Yeah," because a lot of people know me because he's put my picture on his Instagram, and it makes comments about me, or pictures pop up on me. So she knew who I was. Can you introduce me to Colin? I'd like to meet Colin. I said, just go talk to him. I said, he's as nice as they come. Oh, no, I'm nervous. Can you come with me? Like, yeah, I'll go with you. But she wanted to drive with him.
Okay.
But she's a professional driver in Japan. Colin was, when he was 15
God,
years old.
that's got to be rare to be a woman driver in Japan.
Yeah.
Huh?
And she's huge. She's all that. And when when he got his license here, and he was drifting here before he got his license, he was well known in Japan. And they used to
Really?
call him the American Phenom. Because the
What?
Japanese were like, they love Colin because
I never knew any of this.
when Colin was 15, he looked like he looked like he was 6. He just has a baby face. He just looked like a little kid. And the people in Japan just freaked out on Colin because he had that look, but he could drive. They see videos of him driving against pro drivers in America because they would go to some of his events that he was at. Pro drivers would come to test cars or just to, just work on their skills or whatever. And he'd beat them in competition with a car with not even the same horsepower they have.
Wow.
But he'd still beat them. So
Professional driver.
yeah, so he got to be well known. We had Gas Monkey Garage with us as a sponsor, so that we had a lot of fun with that.
What's your classification on your driver's license? Was you get probably a Class E?
No,
or
he's
something?
got a regular old Class A license like
Okay.
everybody. And look, he drives like a pawpaw. He's
Yeah,
he's
I
on the
would
highway.
too.
He's in no hurry. I'm like, dude, where are you? He's like, well, I'm here. I'm driving.
Well, good.
I'm
Shout
driving
out to
70.
Colin. What's up, Colin? But I wanted to ask you about your management thing. That was one of the most interesting things I've heard about that you had told me at first. You used to manage all these people and still kind of do.
Yeah.
Like swamp people, some people from swamp. I'm not sure what I can say. Some people from swamp people and
Back in the day, yes, I had a couple of them from Swamp People. Party Down South. I don't even remember that crazy group on CMT. Wild Loud Boudreaux and Tiffany Heinen and Hannah and the whole crew. Yeah, I managed them. I represented them.
What was the first one that you got? Which one did you get first?
Lyle. And Lyle was really an accident.
This is Party Down South?
Yes.
I never watched it.
Okay,
I think I
Lyle
might have seen it
Boudreaux,
once.
he was the craziest one probably in the bunch, or one of. Not they're all crazy, but it's okay. One night it was the funniest thing. The show came on. It was early February. Don't ask me the year, but it was early February. I remember that. And I went to a Mardi Gras ball with some family members. The crew to Wide Low, the Karen Crow, one of the Karen Crow crews. I went to their Mardi Gras ball, and the ball was wrapping up, and the group I was with said, "Let's go to Cowboys." And we're all dressed up. We've got tuxedos on,
Oh, yeah.
nice suits.
That's
like,
normal.
oh hell, let's go. I'm not the partying guy, but I'm like, let's go. So we go, and the show had just run the Wednesday night before that weekend, so it's still fresh in my mind. So I'm in Cowboys. Never forget. I'm leaning against the bar, and I see this guy acting up on the dance floor. I said, "That's Lyle Boudreaux." I recognize him right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just standing there, and I'm talking to people walking up to me and visiting with me because I'm not one to go through the whole crowd. I'm gonna find me a spot. If you see me and you want to talk to me, come. If you don't, it's fine. I get it. And I'm standing there. 15 minutes later, this kid walks up to me. "You look important. What's your name?" And it was Lyle. I said, "Well, my name's David Bernard." And I said, "You're Lyle Boudreaux." Boy, and he looked at me and said, "How'd you know that?" I said, "Because I watched the show Wednesday night." And I said, "I really liked it." I said, "I like that. I like the concept. I like what y'all did. Looked like I had a good time. Like, would you be my manager?" That fast.
Really?
I like Lyle. I've never managed a reality star. Never done that. But I'll help you if I can. Said, "I'll make a deal with you." Because I get approached a lot for different things and it's just gotten to the point I can't say yes to everybody. And I don't want to say yes to everybody. So there's always a little test of some sort. I said, "If I hear from you I said, I'll meet with you and your mom." Because he told me about his mom. He told me about his little girl. He told me his whole life story.
How old was he?
Oh, I was 21.
Okay, so they're kind of like kids.
Yeah, they're all young. I said, "Look, if I hear from you by 12 o'clock noon tomorrow, I'll meet with you and your mom if it works, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. If I hear from you at 12:01, I'm not going to answer the phone. I said, I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I just want to see if you're really,
If that's what you want.
if this is what you really want. If you call me before noon, I'd love to meet with y'all. If I don't hear from you by noon, I'm gonna wipe it. It's done. Like, okay. 11:30. He's calling my phone. Mr. David, can we meet? I already talked to my mom. Can we meet at 3 o'clock? Like, okay. I really didn't think he was gonna call. So I went.
Especially after going to Cowboys.
Yeah. So I went over, met with his mom, met with him. His mom told me issues. Lyle told me issues. We had a conversation about everything. I said, look, let's just lay it out on the table. What do you need help with? What do you need help with? This is what I can help you with. So
what a broad turn. Give me a broad, what kind of issues are we thinking? I mean, what are you talking about? Issues?
Legal issues, child support issues, just anything. If you have any baggage that I need to be aware of, I need to know now before I start.
Yeah.
You have any warrants out there? So we were able to go through all of that and get all that on the table, there or not there. And, baby mama issues, aunt uncle issues. You never know. Daddy issues. I don't know.
I want to know what I'm getting into.
I don't want to know what I'm getting into. So I want to hear. I want
I want
life
somebody
history.
to show up to my house. And
Right.
shoot me.
I don't want nobody mad at me. So, went through that and, I said, look, this is the way it's going to work. I'm going to be your manager. I'm going to be a father figure to you, and I'm going to be rough. I'm not going to hold back any punches. So just be ready. And if you don't listen to me, and if you don't respect me, at least listen to what I have to say. I'm out. I'm done. And it'll be that fast. It'll be that quick and that easy. Oh no, Mr. David, I need your help. He was. I'm proud of him for being open to having a male figure in his life because he never really had one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it started. So I hired an attorney in Los Angeles to represent him and me. So I have an entertainment attorney in Los Angeles. Did a lot of research on that and talking to other reality stars from Swamp People and different shows, and they led me in the right direction. So I hired an attorney, got him, renegotiated his contract for the second season, got him a huge pay raise. The rest of the cast got their minimal 50%, $50 raise per episode. He was the first one out of the show. When it was over, they all leave it. They're leaving one after another, not all
What is
together.
the concept of the show? Just them having fun?
Party.
Okay.
You're locked up in a house with 8 people, and you go out and party every night. You're drunk every night. You cut up every night. You argue every night.
How do they film this? Like,
there are cameras all over the place.
Is it like for 6 weeks? Is it for 4 weeks? Is it 1 week?
Normally they would do a 30-day run, 30 to 40-day run of being stuck in a house.
Okay. They can't go outside?
No, but under their guidance. Like, they
I'm
can't leave on
trying to
their,
remember them like riding motorcycles and
they
like
can't leave on their own.
four-wheelers in the mud and stuff.
They couldn't leave the house on their own. Nobody could call into the house and talk to them.
Okay.
Everything was vetted through producers and
Yeah.
the security all over the place. They had
No phones, no nothing. They're just them. And it's like
them.
you kick people out the house. Is that the kind
No,
of?
they just stay in the house, but you end up seeing all the trials and tribulations because they go out in public and they all get smashed drunk. One would get in a fight. One was kissing a girl when he had a girlfriend at home. It was just drama.
Okay.
It was just always
like
constant.
Jersey Shore.
Same thing, same concept,
Okay.
same producer, same production company.
Okay.
495 produced both shows.
Okay.
And Sally, the owner of 495, she was responsible for Jersey Shore, and she brought this show together. So that's where it all came from. Well, after the second season, or during the second season, the rest of the cast got wind that I was representing Lyle. And when their shooting finished, Lyle was the first one out the house. And they're like, well, why did Lyle get out first? And so his manager demanded it. And one of the other cast members said, well, who the hell's his manager? I want his manager. And it was actually a girl that I knew her family from Eunice. And when she got home, she went to her parents and said, do you know David Bernard? Oh, yeah, he used to date so-and-so from Eunice. He's been to the house more than once. You've met him. I said, well, I'm calling him. So she called me. Mr. David, can I come visit with you? I'm like, sure. Can I bring my mom and dad? Sure. Whatever. Would you represent me? We'll talk about it. So they came into the house, got her, and then ended up with The rest of the cast, except for Maddie and one of the cast members, a little bit dropped. She got out. So they hired a new girl, Hannah, from Breaux Bridge, Henderson, Arneville area, and I ended up representing her. So I represented 7 of the cast members, except for Maddie. But Maddie and I are still friends to this day. I represented her for a little short time, and I like fat out. We're not going to work, and which was fine. But we still talk. I mean, I've talked to her probably more than some of the other cast members. So it was a fun run.
You might be the reason that the party down south isn't the show anymore, because then the 495 couldn't pay all their their actors.
No, they paid them. It was the problem with that was it was on CMT, a much smaller network than MTV. And CMT didn't have the viewership that MTV had. If the show Party Down South would have been on MTV, it would have been just as big as Jersey Shore, because it was the same concept, but with a bunch of Southern Cajun people for the most part.
Where did they film at?
Oh, they were in Savannah, Georgia. Nowhere's around here. They never filmed.
But
here.
they had a couple people from here, and they go film in Georgia.
They had.
I guess they had a big, beautiful house in Georgia. They go film at. Okay.
Yeah, they had a big old house, or Georgia, or wherever they were.
Yeah.
The Carolinas. But we had 1, 2, 3, 4 from 5 from here, 1 from Mississippi, 1 from Pineville, 1 from Mobile, Gulf Shores. But most of them were from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, most of them were from here, but 1, 2, 3 weren't from South Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like Maddie's from down the bayou.
Well, that show lasted 3 years, 4 years?
5 seasons.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then
which isn't bad. I mean, that's
not bad.
That's better than most reality shows to begin with.
Yeah. Can't all be Snooki, guys.
No.
But so how'd you get in the Swamp People? Tell me about that.
That was while I was. I'm not going to talk much about that. That was when I was working with the Party Down South group. I had to make a bunch of phone calls, and I ended up knowing people that knew people that knew people that knew people who knew them to help me find the right attorney in LA. Because some of them were using the same attorney I was going after to get, because he specialized in reality personalities.
Right.
So he knew how it worked. And you'd never believe that business is not at all what you'd expect.
What business? Reality TV?
The reality TV, the backside of it, the production, the people that are part of this in LA, unbelievably. If you think Louisiana politics were dirty back in the day, we can't hold a candle to what goes on in LA. I'm being honest. It's a mess.
Oh my God! I mean, you wouldn't want any part of that. I mean,
no, it got ugly many a times with me on phone calls and conference calls.
Swamp People got huge. I mean, it still kind of is big.
Oh, it's still huge.
But like back then, it was huge.
It's still cranking a whole bunch of money.
And they're like, all these Louisiana people are trying to deal with them Hollywood people, and I'm sure that gets interesting.
But Hollywood people are a different breed of people, different thought process. That is a very selfish world on that part, that society. That's all I can say. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. Did you? What else did you? What kind of perks did you get as being a manager? Like, would you go out to these places? Would you go to LA parties? Would you go to?
No, I went with a cast on a lot of their personal appearances, so they would get paid to go to nightclubs or birthday parties or whatever, and show up as either an individual or a cast or just 4 of them. And some of those events, I go with them. Big bar, huge bars opening up, and they wanted the Party Down South cast there. Now they paid royally for that to happen, so I go with them. So it was fun. Perks, good pay. I mean, I got paid well doing it, but I represented 7 of the 8 cast members.
Yeah.
So the pay was good. The hours were horrible because I had these kids, when they're not on the show, I still represented them.
You have a lawyer on retainer.
I have a lawyer on speed dial. I mean,
yeah.
And not just there, but here, because they were getting in trouble here. Mm-hmm. So I had to have the local attorney, I had to have a local bail bondsman, all on speed dial, because they go to jail or they wouldn't, they get in a fight. The only person they call was me. Mr. David, I'm in jail. Where are you? I'm in parish. Okay. I'll have somebody over there get you. I'm coming. I'm on my way. I mean, I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, putting clothes on to go get them out of jail.
Oh
I mean,
my
so
gosh.
yeah, it was a lot. I mean, my son was like, "Dad, I don't know how you did it," because he saw what I went through.
Golly, I mean that wasn't long ago. It's like 10 years ago,
Yeah, I
maybe.
mean, getting up and showing up at the jail and bail bondsman meeting me, writing a bond, getting them out. Having to go through the whole court system, having to go meet with attorneys to get them out of trouble, and what can we do to negotiate this? How can we make this go? And then the other thing I had to fight with was TMZ.
Oh my God, they had TMZ in Louisiana.
TMZ is everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 2 times things happened that TMZ, I found out from TMZ before I knew about it. They knew about it before I did because they're interlinked into everything. And
Yeah.
that's why they're so good because they're interlinked with anything and everybody. They have links to everything. And a couple of times I got a phone call from TMZ. I have a buddy of mine that was a producer with TMZ. He called me and say, "Hey, so-and-so just got picked up. You might want to check into dude, how'd you find that out?" So I had
That's
to deal with that.
stressful.
Yeah. And it was like, I got to keep it up because I didn't want the production company to find out about it. I didn't want CMT to find out about it because if they found out, it was like, can we kind of swing this a different way so it doesn't look so bad, so it's a lot. I mean, a manager, as a personal manager to anybody, there's a lot that goes into it,
Yeah.
because you're watching out for their best interest in any situation.
Was that the only kind of movie or TV stint for managing that you had? Was those two?
Yeah.
And
And that's
okay.
enough. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a
Been
lot.
there, done that.
So when you got into music, you were doing buckwheat from Louisiana, and I know you do our buddy Michael Scott Boudreaux. I got his shirt on today.
Yes, sir.
If you could see it. But
Michael,
tell me about how'd you get meeting Michael? Or
Michael's brother and Michael went to school with my son. They all went to school together. Michael's a little bit older than both of them. And one year,
this is Michael Scott Boudreaux, guys.
one year, there was a talent contest at school. They always have things at school. And some sort of way, Colin got hide into being a bass player for Michael for some talent thing, and they had another kid.
Colin plays bass,
He plays. He picks.
like I play guitar.
Yeah, he picks.
play-
No, you play guitar better than he plays bass. I'm sorry, Colin, but it's the truth. But at the time, he was actually working hard at it, and he was trying to learn, and he was actually doing a good job. So they won the talent contest. But over the years, being around his brother Bradley with Colin, because they're always together, I got to learn, meet Michael. And one day in middle school, middle school, told Michael, I said, "Look, if you ever need anything, you need help with anything, just let me know. I'll be here to help you." He said, "Okay, thank you, Mr. David." And that was it. Ever since then, I've been kind of like that phone call away from Michael to do things. Years back, he called me and said, "Hey, I want to do a band." I said, "That's a great idea. Let's go." Wait, back up. He wants to go. I told him one day, just out of the blue, I said, "Find a song that you want to record, and I'll put you in the studio and we'll record it." I said, "I want you to experience that." He had never been in a studio before, a recording studio. So I hired a drummer. Actually, a Grammy Award-winning drummer came in. He was a good friend of mine from
Who's that?
Kevin Menard. He used to
Oh,
play
yeah,
with
yeah.
Buckwheat. Kevin's got, I think, 3 Grammys now. Kevin came in. I hired an upright bass player, not a regular bass player, an upright bass player to play on the song. And Michael did the rest and put him in the studio, and I paid for it. Like, this is your time. Have fun. So he did it just to kind of give him an opportunity. And it never, that the relationship we had never went away. So he called me years later. He said, "I want to do a band." I said, "Do it at the house. Bring him over." So we started with a drummer, I think a guitar player, and a bass player showed up the first time. And I said, "Dude, you need to get a fiddle. Got to get a fiddle in this." "I don't know if I get a fiddle." It's just a great ad.
Yeah.
And he was never against anything. He's like, "Okay." So, and it just worked out. Bo came in, and then ended up getting a second guitar in the band, and now they're cranking
Yeah,
great shows.
they're awesome. Love
They
the
do great
fiddle in there.
shows.
Whenever I first came and played, no bands around here have fiddles. Nobody around. You don't really see that, And
Right.
whenever you see one in person, it's like, that's
Wow.
awesome.
And
Because I thought the same way about steel guitar. I was like, I gotta have steel guitar.
you see, I love a steel guitar
And
too.
And then whenever I went and played with Michael, he came and asked me, he said, "Can I have your steel guitar player for my show?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm sure he'd love to do it." And
And yeah, I love a steel guitar.
yeah.
A steel guitar and a fiddle just adds a little to me, it's like a little bit of extra icing
Well, it's
on the
like all
cake.
of a sudden, oh, that's country. All
Yeah.
of a, you hear either one of
Yeah.
them, all of a sudden that's
Yeah.
country.
It'll take any song to
Yeah.
country with that.
Yeah. It's
So
like
no,
immediate.
it's been a fun time, and Michael's done a lot on his own, going to Nashville, recording some songs.
I'm gonna have him on the podcast. I'm gonna have him on.
Yeah,
here.
have him on.
Yeah,
He'd be a great
I'd love to sit down
interview.
and talk to him. But
Yes.
with any other music guys that you
No,
were
I'm good.
okay?
I'm good. I'm getting older, and I have this thing when somebody plays, I try to be at every show that I can be at, and that gets to be somewhat cumbersome. When when you at one point you were busy, Michael was busy, so I was busy with both of y'all. And I try to make as many shows. I drove to St. Francisville to be with you. You remember? Um, I try to handle too many people. I like to be in touch and have kind of my fingers in it with anybody I'm representing, because being hands off and too far away, I can't do a good job. I want to be at the show, and I want to be able to say,
Right.
don't start a show with that song. That's too slow. What are you? I'll tell you straight up, I don't like that
I'm
beginning.
actually going to play in Lafayette. I just got called today to do it. A little thing in Lafayette.
Oh, good.
This some kind of. I'll tell you later. But,
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
But yeah. So, and look, this other thing, you're also. I can cut this out if I need to.
No, go ahead.
But you're on the board for a couple of festivals in Lafayette. You do the festival thing.
Yes, I'm not right now. I'm not sitting on any boards, but I am helping with.
You've done that before.
Yes.
You've
Oh, yeah.
planned all kinds of festivals,
Yes.
and you used to
book
book all
the
kinds
bands
of
and
talent.
the production and staging, and yeah, been there, done that. I still work with Festival Acadian in Lafayette, which has been that's a really fun
You got
time.
to probably talk to all kinds of famous
Oh.
dudes doing that. Like,
And I've gotten to know them, and it's really great because they're famous, but they're not, but they are. And I've made, I see a lot of these guys that play multiple times, and I'm in public, just in Lafayette or wherever, and I hear my name, David, and it's so and so, fiddle player that is super well known all over the place. It's kind of weird. But being around, I like the music industry because, for the most part, everyone's very, very friendly,
yeah,
very appreciative. We had a great loss when we lost El Cido, the Zydeco. El Cido's in Lafayette was a big Zydeco club, and I was really good friends with him because when Buckwheat would play there, back in the day, there weren't many of me in there. I'd walk in, and Sid and I got to be friends, and
you mean like white people?
white people.
Okay,
There weren't many. There weren't many white people in El Cido's, but I would walk in and got to meet the owner, and Buckwheat, hugged me. Buckwheat was like family to me, like you are. I'm close to everybody I'm associated with. And Sid and I had the same relationship, and his brother Nathan Williams of the Zydeco Cha-Chas. It's all Lil Nate. It's all, it's one big family of great musicians. Rockin' Doopsie Jr., he and I grew up together in North Lafayette. David Rubin. People don't know his name. His name actually name is David.
yeah,
But everybody knows is Rockin' Doopsie Jr. So I grew up with all these people, and they're a wonderful friendship. It's a phenomenal relationship to have with people that are artistic, that are creative, and that can do something I can't do. Yes, I can play piano, but no, I can never play in public. I can hit on the keyboard. I've got a piano at home. I can play on it, and I can play a few songs, but could I ever play in public? No. Would it be a dream? Yes.
I've got to say that Lafayette musicians in general, like, I mean, I've been around like Texas and Baton Rouge, around, and Lafayette, those guys, they all treat each other like just a little family. I mean, it's crazy. Like, when I'm like, come on, come play with us, they just jam all the time. I never saw that until I went and started playing in Lafayette.
Oh, you've got fiddle players, you got bass players that play with 5 different bands. You got drummers that play with 3 different bands. It's like,
And don't get me wrong, the other guys are like Baton Rouge and
yeah,
Texas people. They're friendly too, but it's like Lafayette. They just literally
it's like one
they
big family.
treat each other like brothers and sisters, and it's like Like even somebody they've never met before, like me coming in or coming to hang out with them, they're like, "Oh, dude,
Come
oh,
on.
yeah, come on!"
Come on
It's
in.
just it's cool. So
You know, it's
I love going to Lafayette.
that's the fun part. I'm very blessed with that because I have so many relationships with so many people in the music industry, and they're all really good people. You know, and there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah,
You know, a lot to be said about it. And majority of them are very good family people. You know, they've got kids and they're all about their kids and their families and their wives. And, you know, it's just really a good, wholesome atmosphere. You know, yeah, there's always some that, you know, don't fit the bill, you know what I mean? But
right.
for the most part, it's just a good family atmosphere and everybody hugs each other. Everybody, you know, hey, when you coming over to eat? Hey, you know, it's just really a fun group of people to be a part of. And me not being a musician, I'm the outsider. But they've never made me, no one's ever made me feel like an outsider in the music industry in Lafayette. They've always invited me in. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
that's really the fun thing about that.
Lafayette's a great place. I wish I'm not for Lafayette. I'm a little closer to Baton Rouge than I am Lafayette, but I wish Baton Rouge had some places like Lafayette does, where you could just go to these sick little dives,
Right.
and it's like just about music. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They don't really have that around this way, and I wish we did. But if I have to drive to Lafayette an extra 20 minutes, that don't bother me at all.
And you have a place to stay if you need
Yeah,
to. I've
yeah.
got extra bedrooms at the house.
We went and watched Michael at his Christmas thing
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago, and that was awesome, man. And I got to meet those Whiskey Bay guys, Gabe Barrett.
Yeah, they're a great group of guys.
They were awesome, and they're good players.
They're very good.
Gage Myers was there, and also this new little band that's coming up. They're called the Grove.
The Grove, yes.
The Grove. Those are little guys. I think they're still in high school, and they were just hanging out with all those guys, meeting them. It's like we always hang out and stuff.
Yeah.
So
You have a friend for life. When you meet a musician in Lafayette, you have a friend for life.
yeah, dude. I met Josh Menard one time whenever I'd opened for Wayne Toops. And, that's Josh. Josh is his guitar player, and it's like, dude. I mean, he treated me like I want to say like he was treating me like I had met him before, and I was like, do I know this guy? And he's like, oh, dude, we played because I opened for Wayne about 3 times. He was like, oh, dude, I met you whenever you were playing for Wayne the other time, and it's like, oh, I can't believe you would even come talk to me, you know? But yeah, those guys are awesome. Wayne Toops is awesome.
Yeah.
I never met Sammy Kershaw though. He lives in Kaplan still.
He's in Lafayette.
He's in Lafayette. He's from Kaplan, right?
Yes, born and raised in Kaplan. Yeah, I've met Sammy. Sammy and I've crossed paths many a times.
Yeah, they had,
Sammy goes back to my dad days. My dad owned a nightclub when I was growing up. So the Sammy days were all the way back to the Cajun Country nightclub days.
Okay.
So that's how far back that
Who
goes.
bought the? I was trying to ask this question on the other podcast when I had the, Doug Guillory on, but a musician bought Cowboys, didn't they?
I don't know the ins and outs of that situation. I haven't really
I feel like I know the guy that bought it. I couldn't think of his name.
delved into that. I've just
Baque died, and then
Yeah.
his son didn't want to run it, and I think they just went ahead and sold it.
I don't know what they did. I never got into the details of it. Just letting them.
Yeah.
I wish them luck because every nightclub in Lafayette is a place for more people to go and people to have a good time. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And musicians have an opportunity to play their music.
And we can't forget our boy Clay Cormier, dude.
Clay, my boy Clay.
I'm gonna have Clay on here. I tried getting him on before New Year's, but he was in between Lafayette and New
Nashville.
Orleans,
And Nashville now.
and Nashville. Yeah, living up there now.
Yeah, I'm Clay. If you're watching, I called you 3 times for
He's got a new-
Christmas, and you haven't called me back, but that's okay.
Look, I'm gonna take up for him. I texted him, and he texted me back like a month later. He said, "Dude, I got a new phone."
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew that, but
yeah,
he got a new phone number. So
yeah. No, I've got his phone numbers.
Okay.
He's just not good at responding.
he's something.
Yeah.
He does.
We
sound
gotta
like
love Clay.
Yeah, I do love Clay and Bryce. Bryce was over
Bryce,
there actually playing
yeah.
with Michael.
Yes,
So
Bryce is that good as they come.
we're gonna wrap it up here, dude. I
Let's do
appreciate
it.
you coming to see me.
Well,
and,
thanks for having me. I
We'll
had a
do it
blast.
again, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll find something else to talk about.
Yeah, man.
Golf or something.
Well, that's it from us. We're doing fine today. David Menard, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Absolutely. See y'all later, guys.